Firstly, there are many dignitaries to thank, but I don't have a list in front of me, and if I try to remember names, I'll end up saying them wrong and offending everybody. So I just want to say thank you, all the dignitaries. Thank you, thank you. I bestow all the honour that I have to you, and I've forgotten everyone's names. And I also want to just say, and forgive me if this comes across, I don't know how this will come across. I want to say I feel so welcome by people in Nigeria. I've loved every minute of it, even sitting in the traffic. Even the rain, the heat. But can I tell you something? For me, apart from there's beauty here in the buildings and in the heart that is everything, the beautiful fauna and flora, a beautiful country. But what I see is beautiful people, and you can tell by the clothes, the beautiful clothes, you know. I'm slightly embarrassed about the way that England imposed the suit and tie on the rest of the world. And thank you, Nigeria, for resisting and wearing your own things. I founded the International Forum of Inclusion Practitioners because I thought it was a valuable thing to try and bridge the gap between the aspiration of policy and also practitioners, what's happening in the ground in classrooms. And so we try to support governments and we try to support teachers. We sort of sit in the middle. And we're in 140 countries. And I haven't been to 140, but I've been to a whole bunch. And one of the key principles that we have in the IFIP is to not just share best practices, but to harness and learn best practices from the rest of the world. So wherever I am in the world, I try to wear shirts from Africa or shirts from Asia to remind myself. This is a personal thing. This shirt's from Zambia. And yes, my son, I brought my son, he's 13. He's currently in the market working on a shirt for me, and apparently that's what's happening today. And so I will wear that Nigeria shirt in other places in the world. But it reminds me that, you know, inclusion is not a white European export. It's something where there is brilliance all over the world. And actually, unless you take an inclusive global view of inclusion, then you are missing the real heart of humanity into the project of inclusion, of a new modern way of thinking of education. Suddenly it becomes all about whatever people are doing in England, and let's bring that here. And actually, that's not what the IFIP think at all. Of course, there are best practices that we can share, we can learn from people who are real, genuine experts. But there are also experts here in Nigeria, and I've met a whole bunch of them, and they're sitting right here on the front row. That you've been trailblazing here, and there are things that the rest of the world need to learn from you as well, which is why I was so pleased to see you in Kazakhstan. We had a World Inclusion Congress, about 5,000 people from all over the world, education ministers and UN bodies. We have another big World Inclusion Congress in Delhi at the end of July. And this is part of that. And I have to tell you something. We do get requests to do a World Inclusion Congress in different parts of the world, and I'll tell you why we chose Nigeria. Is because our criteria are all met. The first thing is we couldn't do anything here without a partner to be able to do it here. So we have that in Angelina and Golden Links. So Angelina, thank you. Literally none of this is possible without you. And if I'm not mistaken, this idea was kind of born in Kazakhstan, am I right? We thought, let's do it. The second thing is that we need government representatives and major stakeholders and bodies, people who are here today, dignitaries who have come today, we need them to be able to work with us. IFIP do not work alone in any country. We always work with the infrastructure of the country. And so thank you for coming and supporting today. And I hope this is the beginning of something, not the one-off that we do. What a shame that would be. I hope we'll have an ongoing conversation with everybody here. And the third thing is that, and this is the important bit, because you can have those two things, but the third thing is the most important. Are teachers willing to come? And I think the evidence is before us. So thank you so much for coming. I want to say thank you for coming. I feel like as part of the IFIP, and before I give a little talk about inclusion, I should really say a very big thank you to a special group of people. So can I invite anyone who's come from another country, especially for this event, please would you come onto the stage and I'm going to introduce you. The quicker you do it, the better. Now, the first thing I want to tell you something is this, and this may be slightly embarrassing for them, but I don't mind embarrassing them, and that is as follows. These people, most of these people here are world-class professionals, okay? They have spoken all over the world. They've been paid very well to go all over the world, and they normally get their flights paid for. And not only are they not getting paid, but they paid for their own flights and their own hotels. They've come on their own dime to Nigeria. And I think the least we can do is say thank you. So thank you for coming. You're going to get to know them in the workshops, but just to embarrass them a little bit further, Thomas has led England in one of the best group of schools, one of the most inclusive, forward-thinking, modern, futuristic type thinking group of schools in England and arguably in the world. And it's amazing that you're here, Thomas, and you've brought your son as well, so thank you so much for coming. Sharon is one of the leading head teachers from England, now no longer a head teacher, but now consulting with government and consulting with lots of big organizations, and she is arguably one of the most forward-thinking head teachers in inclusion in the world. Thank you, Sharon, for coming. Angelina I've introduced already, but she's our partners in Nigeria. IFIP partnership is with Golden Links. IFIP doesn't exist in Nigeria without Golden Links and without Angelina. And this event doesn't happen without you, so thank you so much. I'm sorry to, we're almost finished with the clapping. Give me another few more claps, and then I'll kick them off the stage. This is Unity Sabina Arthur, who's from Ghana, who's come to all of our events in Paris, UNESCO, to Kazakhstan, and various others. Thank you so much, Unity, for coming as well. Have you come from abroad? Oh, you've come from Ghana. Thank you so much. Tell us what you do in Ghana.
I'm the Director of Operation of Brightgate International School.
Lucky you, that's a very good school. And Heidi, currently based in Namibia, but actually has been head teacher in how many schools in Africa?
2 headships and 1 principalship, Mauritania, Niger, and Botswana.
Yeah, that's very good. And is a director with the IFIP. So guys, instead of you going all down at the same time, why don't you just take a seat? There are seats here, just take a seat. Is that okay with you? Unless you want to go down. There are seats. I'll just tell you a couple of things about the IFIP, and then I'll share with you some ideas about inclusion, if that's okay. So the IFIP, as I said, is in 140 countries. I've told you but there are a few basic things that we do. We do accreditation, which is about supporting schools on their journey of becoming an inclusive school. We do training, which is online and sometimes in person like this. We do events all around the world. We've done events for UNESCO in Paris, for education ministers and practitioners. We've done events for the G20 in Brazil. We've done events in Papua New Guinea and Uruguay and the Caribbean and Bangladesh, Zambia, Botswana, I can't list all the Uruguay, Uganda. I can't list all the countries. I've forgotten them all, but a lot. We work with the European Union and so on. This is the first country in West Africa, and I hope that this is not our last time, but our first time. I hope that next year we will do this kind of event. But shall we shoot for more like 2,000 people? Is that reasonable? Shall we make it a West Africa Region Congress or Conference? Yeah? Let's shout about inclusion together. We can't do it without you, but you help us, we'll get it done, and I think we could do that. Let me share with you a few ideas about inclusion, and then I'll stop talking, and hopefully say hello to a few of you whilst I'm here. I grew up with ADHD. I still have ADHD. But when I grew up, it was unidentified. Can I, just as a show of hands, how many people here have heard of ADHD? Yeah. And but if you put your hands down, that's amazing. And I'll just tell you something. If you asked that question 20 years ago, I don't think anybody would have put their hand up. And that's also true in England, America, Australia, all over the world. That's also true. So we have undergone huge changes over the world. The knowledge shift has been huge. We're not there yet, and in fact, we sit at the very frontier of education. There's something that you can be very proud of being here. Bearing in mind, you've self-selected to come. I don't think anybody was anybody forced to come here? No. So you've chosen to come here, and this I think is a topic which is not like a strange topic that, by the way, should we think about it? But actually has become the number one topic in all of the world of education. That all education ministries around the world have made inclusion their number one priority. And also here in Nigeria, the education minister, if I'm not mistaken, has said no child should be left behind, which is another way of saying inclusion. Let me just tell you a couple of stories about my own personal experience. So I never completed school. I never got A-levels. I'm not sure does A-levels exist in... I have 2 minutes, apparently. I won't tell the story then. I'm going to tell the story anyway. I'll get in trouble, and what's the worst going to happen? They'll throw me out. So I didn't get any A-levels. I didn't get a first degree, but I managed to go straight to a master's in education psychology, and I also did masters in psychotherapy, and I did various doctoral training, and also wrote PhD and all these sorts of things. The big shift for me was when I was a child. All my teachers and my parents and people around me, the adults around me, effectively communicated to me the following phrase: you can't. You can't. You cannot. Yeah? And by the time I reached to my early 20s, after counseling and various other things that I did, I eventually reached the realization that I can. And for me, that was the big shift. And I say to you this: of all the wonderful interventions which you're going to learn today, the biggest one for me is the attitude that we have as adults around children. I'm going to share with you one other idea before I get kicked off the stage, and that is as follows. A friend of mine is a professor of speech and language therapy in London. And we could talk about this at great length, but let me just bear with me, because I'm going to try and do this very quickly. She said that she did a piece of research in one of Cambridge University's colleges, and she looked for neurodiversity in the students and in the professors. And what percentage do you think she found? What would you say? 5%? 10%? And the real answer was, what she found was about 85 to 90%. And in fact, I can tell you that in London's biggest prison, you have prisons in Nigeria, right? In London's biggest prison, what percentage, she did exactly the same assessment, what percentage of neurodiversity do you think she found? About the same. This is the difference between how we deal with neurodiversity well and how we deal with it badly. Now, let me tell you one other thing. If you look at the top of any university in the world, like the top universities, you will find the vast majority of professors have neurodiversity. In Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, the Sorbonne in Paris, I could list them all. These are places where neurodiversity thrives, okay? If you wanted to be a chess grandmaster, I don't think you could do it unless you were on the autistic spectrum. I want to tell you this, that the vast majority of Hollywood actors are dyslexic. And there is a reason, there's a relationship between good acting and dyslexia. I asked my friend, who is a head teacher of the top music school in the world, in the Yehudi Menuhin School in England. And I asked him, out of your 100 students, the best music students from all over the world, what percentage are neurodiverse? He said, well, maybe there's one who isn't. Yeah? I want to share with you this. This is my final thought for you. Neurodiversity is everywhere that you see. I would say that in Silicon Valley, I don't think you're even allowed in Silicon Valley unless you're autistic or on the Asperger's or on the autistic spectrum. You will find that you and me live in a neurodiverse world, and that we just let you live among us, the neurotypicals. The neurodiverse people are the ones who think differently and therefore have discovered things. Look at this screen here, or that speaker there, or this light here, and in it is the physics and the chemistry and the design and the engineering. Those were done by neurodiverse people, people who don't think like everybody else, they think differently. Those are the ones who lead our world. This is about harnessing what Nigeria has, more than, I would say, because you have a population of 230 million. If you were to harness your neurodiverse students and they were to stay in Nigeria, you don't get a brain drain, right? Then Nigeria's economy would change. This is about investing in Nigeria and in your future. And it's reliant entirely on you, the educators who are at the cutting edge of this educational thinking. So thank you for your time. I'm sorry I'm being kicked off stage. I really appreciate your hosting. On behalf of all of our speakers here, we appreciate your hosting. We've got a limited amount of time here in Nigeria. Please make the most of speaking with us, and we want to learn from you too. And thank you to everybody who's been part of organizing this. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy.